Luigi Mangione is receiving global support. People are sending him money, while others are making merchandise.
A show of support for an accused killer spotted in Riverside. A makeshift billboard says, "Free Luigi Mangione. He's a hero."
He's accused of cold-blooded murder in Midtown Manhattan, but instead of condemnation, Luigi Mangione is getting support. Social media buzzing with sympathy for the suspect, who police say gunned down the CEO of United Healthcare.
Luigi Mangione, a 26-year-old Ivy League grad from a well-off family who seemed to have it all, became the talk of the nation after being arrested for the shocking murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. While the arrest itself grabbed headlines, newly uncovered footage from right before the crime has thrown a curveball, leaving everyone, including his own family, stunned and second-guessing everything they thought they knew about him. The footage shows Luigi Mangione using a fake identity. Captured on a hotel's reception surveillance camera, it shows him handing over an ID under the name Mark Rosario. The interaction, which appeared playful and flirtatious with the woman behind the counter, turned out to be a crucial moment when Luigi briefly dropped his guard. This slip helped officers identify him later, despite his attempts to stay hidden behind a blue medical mask. "We recognized him straight away once the mask was pulled down," said one of the officers. The photos and videos from the media made it obvious. The fake ID adds a fresh twist to the case, especially since the address on it, 128 Sherman Place, Maplewood, is also fake. The quiet suburban street was left buzzing with confusion, as neighbors wondered why Luigi, originally from Maryland, chose their area for his phony address. Some speculated about possible connections to Maplewood, while others thought it might just be random. Local resident Janelle Delk shared her disbelief, saying she even double-checked her own address to make sure it wasn't her house. Janelle Delk even joked that she had to grab her reading glasses to double-check the address after getting bombarded with calls and texts from worried friends and family. Michael Meyer, a longtime Sherman Place resident, voiced a deeper concern about what this case might mean. "We always hear about people struggling with healthcare and being denied coverage. Maybe something like that happened to him, or someone he cared about," he speculated. This sudden link to their quiet street has left Sherman Place residents feeling uneasy. The fake ID and non-existent address strongly suggest that Luigi had carefully planned every step. Pulling off such a cover-up would have taken time and resources. When Luigi was arrested, police found a 3D printed gun, a silencer, and a mask, items that match the tools used in the crime. "We matched that gun to the 3 shell casings found at the scene in Midtown," investigators confirmed. Everything pointed to a calculated, premeditated plan, not a spur-of-the-moment act. This theory gained even more weight when it came out that Luigi's mother, Kathleen Manone, had reported him missing months earlier. It looked like he'd spent significant time preparing for something much bigger. Kathleen filed the missing persons report in San Francisco on November 18th. For years, Luigi had been active on social media, posting happy travel photos, sharing his weightlifting journey, and talking openly about his health struggles. His followers were used to seeing regular updates, so when his posts suddenly stopped in the summer, people noticed. Friends and fans started leaving worried comments and sending messages. One user even tagged him on X, asking if he'd still be able to keep a promise he'd made about attending their wedding. The radio silence only deepened the mystery. Then, in mid-November, just 2 weeks before the assassination, Luigi's disappearance was officially reported by his mother. Luigi's mother, Kathleen Mangione, said she hadn't heard from him since July, nearly 140 days before she filed a missing person report on November 18th. She believed he had been working for TrueCar, a car-buying website based in San Francisco. However, a spokesperson for TrueCar later revealed that Luigi hadn't been employed there since early 2023. This revelation added yet another layer of mystery to his disappearance, and raised even more questions about what he was doing in the months leading up to the murder. It all seems to point to a well-thought-out plan, with Luigi possibly using his time off the radar to prepare for what would happen next. But what could push someone like Luigi Mangione, who appeared to have it all, to take such a shocking turn? Was he battling personal struggles hidden behind the polished image he showed to the world? Or was there something deeper and darker driving his actions? These are the questions investigators, and those who knew him, are struggling to answer. For friends and family, it's a heartbreaking and almost unbelievable shift. How could a bright, promising young man turn into a fugitive tied to such a chilling crime? Many are wondering if Luigi had been silently battling mental health issues, or if his actions were part of something more calculated and sinister. Did the murder stem from desperation, or was it driven by a deeper vendetta, perhaps against the corporate world he once thrived in? As investigators continue piecing together the timeline of events, the public is left to wonder, were there signs of Luigi's downward spiral all along, missed by even those closest to him? What exactly pushed him to cross the line? Luigi Mangione seemed destined for greatness from the start. Growing up in a wealthy Maryland family, he had opportunities most people could only dream of. He attended an elite private school, where he was the star student, brilliant, charismatic, and eventually graduating as valedictorian. His summers were spent at exclusive camps, where he built a network of influential connections that would open countless doors for him later. With a sharp mind and an unstoppable drive, Luigi became someone everyone admired. Confident, talented, and ambitious, he stood out as a natural leader. After high school, he continued his rise by enrolling at an Ivy League university, where he majored in computer science and mathematics. But his achievements weren't just academic. Luigi led cutting-edge university projects that blended technology with social impact, earning praise from professors and catching the eye of potential employers. Luigi didn't just hit the books, he was everywhere. Known for his creativity and leadership, he juggled extracurricular activities that showed off his innovative mindset. By the time he graduated, Luigi had already locked down a prestigious tech job in San Francisco, solidifying his reputation as a rising star. He was even invited to speak at tech conferences, boosting his visibility and career prospects even further. Friends and acquaintances described Luigi as the guy everyone wanted to be around. Charming and easygoing, he was admired for his ability to bring people together, whether it was organizing charity events or encouraging his peers to push their limits. He was like a leader in our class, one former classmate shared. He was in a ton of clubs, played soccer, and even baseball in middle school, but mostly he was just this quiet, smart, nice guy. On social media, Luigi painted the picture of a young man living life to the fullest. His posts featured sunny beaches, packed social events, and beaming smiles with friends. He looked like the epitome of success and happiness, but behind the polished facade, cracks were starting to show. What seemed like a picture-perfect life may have been hiding deeper struggles that might have set the stage for the shocking events to come. A key turning point in Luigi Mangione's life appears to have been a surfing accident that left him with severe back pain. Friends and old social media posts reveal that surfing was more than just a hobby for Luigi. It was his escape, a way to feel free. But the accident changed everything. What had once been his passion became a constant reminder of his vulnerability, shattering his confidence and forcing him to reevaluate his future. At first, it seemed like a minor injury, but the pain soon became chronic. It robbed him of the activities he loved and sent him down a path of physical and emotional struggle. As his condition worsened, Luigi began withdrawing from his social circles, preferring isolation to interaction. His self-esteem took a hit, and he started questioning his sense of purpose. Luigi sought help through the healthcare system, but grew increasingly frustrated with what he saw as its failures. Online forums captured his growing anger about long wait times, costly treatments, and dismissive doctors who offered nothing more than temporary fixes. He felt abandoned by a system that was supposed to help him, but instead seemed to deepen his suffering. Over time, his frustration turned into outright resentment. In one especially telling online post, Luigi wrote, "Healthcare isn't about healing people anymore. It's about squeezing every last dollar out of you when you're too weak to fight back." This wasn't just personal frustration. It was a broader critique of the system itself. Luigi saw himself as a victim of a broken system, and his anger began to harden into a vendetta. His resentment became the center of his mental and emotional decline, as he dove deeper into online communities that mirrored and amplified his bitterness. Luigi Mangione's disappearance from social media and public life in the months before the assassination is another crucial clue to understanding his motives. Friends and family noticed that he became increasingly withdrawn, cutting off contact and isolating himself. This self-imposed solitude may have given him the space to spiral further, away from those who might have recognized the warning signs. During this period, investigators believe Luigi spent a lot of time online, consuming content that reinforced his frustrations with the healthcare system. Conspiracy theories and forums discussing government corruption and corporate greed may have deepened his resentment and pushed him toward more extreme ideas. The internet is full of such content, and it's likely Luigi found communities or material that validated his anger and fueled his desire for revenge. This radicalization could explain how his frustration evolved into a plan for violence. Among Luigi's belongings, investigators found a manifesto that provided chilling insight into his mindset. The document detailed plans for potential violent acts, including a bombing, and outlined specific targets and materials for creating explosives. The manifesto revealed the extent of Luigi's anger and disillusionment with the U.S. healthcare system. He railed against corporate greed and rising costs, describing how the system left many to suffer. The notes made it clear that Luigi's grievances had turned deeply personal, with the healthcare industry becoming a significant focus of his vendetta. Luigi Mangione's manifesto began with a direct message to federal authorities. He emphasized that he was acting alone and wasn't part of any group. His tone was calm but unwavering, describing his methods as straightforward and justifying his actions with the chilling statement, "It had to be done." His writing reflected the frustrations outlined in his notes, especially his anger toward the healthcare system. He squarely blamed corporate executives for profiting off human suffering. What made the manifesto particularly unsettling was its clarity. It wasn't a disorganized rant, but a deliberate and well-structured document. Luigi even referenced respected critics of the healthcare industry, possibly to give his views more weight and credibility. In the manifesto, Luigi acknowledged the likely consequences of his actions. He seemed fully aware of the gravity of his choices, but remained firm, believing that what he was doing was necessary. He framed his violent plans as a harsh truth he felt compelled to reveal, casting himself as a reluctant crusader forced into extreme measures. Yet, for all his rationalizations, the reality was undeniable. Luigi chose violence, leaving behind devastation in his wake. While it's unclear if Luigi had any personal grudge against Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, Thompson's role made him a symbolic target. Killing Thompson may have been Luigi's way of striking back at a system he believed had betrayed him. Luigi's notebook revealed detailed notes about healthcare executives, suggesting he viewed them as the personification of the system's failures. By going after someone as high-profile as Thompson, Luigi may have been trying to send a message or force people to confront his grievances. At the same time, the attack on Thompson hints at a deeper motive. Luigi may have seen himself as a martyr, trying to position himself as a hero to others who shared his frustrations with the healthcare system. What's even more alarming is the discovery of bombing plans in Luigi's notebook. This suggests that Thompson's assassination might have been just one part of a larger plan. It seems Luigi wasn't only seeking personal vengeance. He might have had ambitions to ignite a broader movement or trigger a chain reaction of events. Luigi Mangione's detailed notes about explosives and potential targets suggest he might have planned multiple attacks. This supports the idea that his actions weren't impulsive, but part of a calculated strategy. The shocking murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on December 4, 2024, has sparked a massive wave of online discussion, and it's far from the usual condolences you'd expect after the death of a corporate leader. Instead of mourning Thompson's loss, many people online are mocking him and even framing his death as some sort of justice against the healthcare system. This unusual reaction seems rooted in years of frustration with the healthcare industry, especially health insurance companies, which many see as cold and greedy. For some, Thompson became the face of this system, a symbol of everything wrong with rising premiums, denied claims, and the growing sense of helplessness many consumers feel. Thompson was well known as the leader of United Healthcare, a company that's faced mounting criticism in recent years. Under his watch, the company became infamous for denying insurance claims, especially for vulnerable groups like seniors on Medicare. The use of artificial intelligence to automatically reject claims made things worse, leaving many feeling like life or death decisions were being made by a soulless machine. Reports highlighted how these denials disproportionately impacted Medicare patients, preventing them from accessing critical care. This fueled public anger, with many feeling that the system prioritized profits over people's well-being. To make things worse, lawsuits accused United Healthcare of knowingly using flawed AI systems to reject insurance claims, a move that many saw as the ultimate example of corporate indifference to human lives. As the outrage grew, more and more people blamed Thompson directly as the company's CEO, making his death even more controversial. But Thompson's murder has become more than just a tragic news story. It's turned into a full-blown social media phenomenon. Instead of focusing on the loss of a corporate leader, much of the public conversation has shifted to outrage over United Healthcare's practices. Platforms like TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, have exploded with posts about Luigi Mangione, the alleged shooter. Many users are casting him as a symbol of resistance against the healthcare system. One viral post even claimed, "Luigi doesn't even know he's a national sensation right now. He's in jail, totally unaware of how many people are rallying behind him." These posts range from serious to outright theatrical, with some comparing to folk heroes or historical rebels who fought against injustice. One particularly popular meme paired him with a fictional TV character famous for defying authority, further romanticizing his actions. This wave of support has sparked heated debates online. Some people argue they don't condone the violence, but can relate to the deep frustrations behind it. As one user put it, "What he did was wrong, but the anger he felt, that's something I can understand." Even the details from the crime scene have added fuel to the fire. Police found bullet casings at the scene with the words "deny," "depose," and "defend" etched onto them. Many saw this as a direct jab at the practices of insurance companies, especially how they deny claims, fight legal challenges to those denials, and push back against anyone who dares to challenge their decisions. This was seen as a symbolic gesture, almost like a protest through violence, against the bureaucracy many felt was too focused on protecting corporate interests instead of prioritizing human health. The discovery of those words at the crime scene only reinforced the idea that Luigi Mangione's actions were fueled by years of frustration with the healthcare industry. Thompson's death came at a time when the U.S. healthcare system was under increasing scrutiny. Healthcare costs were rising, insurance companies were denying more claims, and people felt trapped in a system that seemed more interested in profits than in people's well-being. For many, Thompson's murder felt like a breaking point, a sign that the anger over these issues had reached new heights. In a country where healthcare is often treated as a privilege rather than a right, Thompson's death became more than just the loss of one individual. It was seen by many as a manifestation of a larger societal issue. The frustration with an inaccessible and, at times, heartless system made his death feel like a culmination of deep-seated anger and disillusionment. While the murder itself was tragic and violent, it tapped into a much broader conversation. The question of whether insurance companies are doing the right thing has only grown louder. How much longer will people tolerate a broken system before something drastic happens? Thompson's death has sparked a massive discussion about healthcare reform, and it's clear that this issue is only going to get bigger. What's interesting, though, is that this tragedy has had ripples in places no one would expect. One of the more unusual developments in the aftermath of the murder occurred in a small McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. After the shooting, there was a 5-day manhunt for Luigi Mangione, the man accused of killing Brian Thompson. Authorities scoured New York City and beyond, piecing together clues from surveillance footage and forensic evidence. It was on the 5th day of the manhunt that Mangione was captured in the McDonald's. Sitting alone at a table near the restrooms, a sharp-eyed customer recognized Mangione from the images circulating nationwide. The customer immediately alerted an employee, who then called the police. This marked the end of the search for the fugitive, but the conversation about healthcare, the frustration with the system, and the tragic death of Thompson were far from over. When officers arrived at the McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, they found Luigi Mangione calmly eating a hash brown, wearing a brown beanie, a medical mask, and a dark jacket. He seemed unaware that his cover had been blown, a far cry from the tense manhunt that had captivated the nation. His arrest came after days of intense investigation, where authorities employed both traditional detective work and modern technology to track him down. A crucial photograph showing Mangione's face had helped authorities identify him, leading directly to his capture. The manhunt had finally come to an end in that quiet McDonald's, but the story didn't stop there. After Mangione's arrest, the Altoona McDonald's became the center of a wave of online backlash. Reports had revealed that a restaurant employee alerted the police after spotting Mangione in the restaurant, which led to a flood of negative reviews on Google. Many labeled the fast food chain as Snitch Donald's for assisting law enforcement. Other reviews, unrelated to the situation, were harsh, with one even commenting on rats scurrying in the kitchen and advising others to stay away. Google quickly intervened, removing reviews that violated its policies, as they were not based on actual customer experiences. However, the remaining comments underscored a larger sentiment. This case highlighted the shift in how internet culture responded to acts of violence. Experts noted that the glorification of Mangione spread beyond niche online communities to mainstream platforms, amplifying his message to a broader audience. Memes, fan fiction, and even Etsy merchandise dedicated to Mangione blurred the lines between critique, satire, and genuine admiration, making it more difficult for the public to understand the gravity of his actions. Amidst the public frenzy, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro issued a statement condemning those who celebrated Mangione's actions. "This killer is being hailed as a hero," he said. "Hear me on this. He is no hero. The real hero in this story is the person who called 911 at McDonald's this morning." While the governor's remarks were intended to provide perspective, they also drew criticism from those who felt his words ignored the systemic issues that had led to the public's response. The governor's statement emphasized the tension between condemning violence while also acknowledging the deeper frustrations that had fueled the narrative surrounding Mangione. As the situation unfolded, the story became not just about the death of a CEO, but about a fractured healthcare system, the intense public reactions to Mangione's actions, and the debate over how far one should go in protest.